Alright, welcome back to Paint and Make It Happen with Michael Thompson. I got a new painting for you, and one I've dug out of the archives for you. I've painted this last year, I believe it was, but I found all the footage for it, so I thought it would make a great video, so let's go ahead and start on that. I'm going to put up all the stuff on the screen there for you. Kind of give you an idea of all the things that I use. Now the acrylic I painted, let it dry, and before I started, just use yellow and black. And putting linseed oil on now, give the directions there to apply that and when you should start painting. So, put all that on there. Got some brushes listed. Now I have a 1-inch brush, and you can use any brush you like to paint this on with, but it just kind of covers a little bit of area, or a lot of area, pretty quick. And so I'm dipping into the burnt sienna and the vermilion. And I'm just going to brush all that in. Now notice you can see some of the yellow through the red where the streaks are beyond the sky, and that's important because it gives kind of this glow to the sky. See, just leave some of those areas, and you'll see as we go how it develops, and you can kind of get a good idea how it'll look. And you can probably tell that we're going to do a seascape. Nothing like being in the islands. And I just love them gorgeous bright skies right there. Now at this point I've added some of the cadmium red light into the painting. See how bright that is? Notice, look at the difference in the shade. Just strong, super strong red right there. So add that in. I guess you could say a little over sparingly, but it's a very strong color. Goes a long way. When you start adding it, add a small amount just to see how far it covers, and then you'll know just how much to put on. But it covers a lot. Very strong. Almost too strong sometimes. But the yellow behind just gives a golden glow of the sun, in the background when you see it. I'm just going to bring that on down to the horizon. So far, I've not cleaned my brush or anything like that. I just keep adding red, and I just change to a different red. If you got too much before you change to that red, just wipe it out on a paper towel. Just blending. Now notice how I kind of toss some of that up in the upper part. And sometimes you'll see this palette shot, and I do apologize for not being able to get you all of the shots on this one particular one, but I just had one camera going that day in this class I was teaching, so I'll try to keep you updated on what colors I'm using as I use them. But I think some of the longest parts of the painting is getting the sky in some of these. When you're trying to do a magnificent one in these paintings and vibrant, you got to spend a lot of time on it. So notice I'm using some of the burnt sienna and some of the burnt umber and just a little bit of the red. And I'm putting it right on the corner edge. So let's grab a little bit of that cadmium yellow light. And I've just got just the tip of that, and watch how I apply the paint. And I'm thinking at this point I'm going diagonal. I'm not going left to right. See how I'm working kind of down instead of left to right? And I must be mentioning that to the students at the time. But the brush strokes are going kind of upward and from corner to corner from that diagonal angle. You can see and I'm flipping the brush around to get different. I'm just tapping. Now the camera is slightly, I usually speed up just a little bit for time constraint, and because I paint pretty slow sometimes, and so, but you paint as slow as you like. If you have to wait up just a little bit, I try to get it where it's still comfortable to watch, and that we can get done in a timely manner. I think this was about 3 hours and something of footage that I was able to chop down to an hour and 16 minutes, and that's exactly where I'd like to be. Blend. Now I'm just barely touching that canvas. I'm not digging into the paint at all. It's just laying on the very gently, just very, very gently. I mean, if you can't do it with this one, you can get like a goat hair brush. It's very soft. Get a real soft brush, pick up at the hobby store, and you'll know it when you feel it. It's almost like a makeup brush, and you can blend with one of those if you have problems controlling how much pressure you put on the canvas, if there's something that's causing you to do that, some physical ailment or something like that. But if you can control that brush, it'll do all kinds of things for you. And all I'm doing at that point is just blending the base of that cloud. I'm just shuffling across through there the base of that cloud, and see how it diffused the bottom of it, made it real soft. But if you pull up too hard, you'll get little black stringy things in your clouds. So it's good to just gently, gently work that in. Certain methods or different tools. Now, I'm just using a knife to pull that off and look at the sun. See how bright that yellow's showing through. But the only thing you have to worry about after that is look at the rough edge around it. You'll have a rough, rugged edge that you have to take care of. So that's what I'm going to work on here. So first I'll start out with a 1-inch brush, and I'm just gently blending. Now if I blend real hard, it would pull that paint right over into that yellow, and I want it to stay bright in there. So let's just work that edge out. Just try to get some of that hard edge off. Now I'm just added some of the emerald green to that, and I'm using a lot of the highlight color on that was in the sky up there. That's all that is, and it's got a little bit of the green with it and a little bit of the yellow. You can see where it's a little bit more of a almost looks like a sap green kind of color up there, but that's just because it had a lot more yellow into it. Now whenever I have got the paint on the bottom edge of that knife, notice that I'm just scrubbing that in there. See how just barely going across through there, but it's scrubbing. So the color's not showing up that well, and I need to adjust the color. So that's what I'm going to do after I have a little fun putting a little bit down in here. A little bit of that sky color, a little rustic color. Maybe there's some sand under there, who knows, you know. Over to the left, we're going to put some sand and palm trees and things like that here in just a short bit. But I like putting some of this color on there because, you know, it's all these colors. It just makes it have a beautiful feel to it. And when I find the opportunity to put a color in, I'm not going to let it go by. I like to put it in there. That's just my personality. So we're going to stop on that part and then move to another part. And that part is the land over here. Just kind of bounce around a little bit. Give that a rest a minute, and then we'll come back to it. So just draw that right up there. Right there, I put that little rock formation out there. It just looks like a gob of black paint at the moment. But now the mixture on that, I probably should have told you earlier, I just used some of the black and then some of the burnt umber. Some of the ivory black and burnt umber. You put some of the too much of the burnt umber in, and you'll just end up with a dark brown. I wanted it, so I used a small amount, maybe like 75-25. 75 being the black, 25% being the burnt umber. Using the same mixture, I'm just creating a. See how that line pushed that rock way back in the background back there when I pulled that line across. Now, I'm using a 1-inch brush, but you can use a fan brush if you like, or just a filbert. But I'm finding that I can blend pretty good with that 1-inch brush. Notice how it's blending that sand, so that's why I'm using it. That other stuff off when I go into that. See how bright that is under the sun? And it looks like the water, like the sun's glistening across those waves in the water. And it gives it a real nice feel. Just that one little effect across through there. Now when I'm creating these branches on these palms, this type of palm, I'm using the angle of the brush, like the way the brush is, it's got that fan to it, so you can, watch how you can just draw a little angle. See how I drew that? Now look, pull down with the edge of the brush, and see how it makes like the palms. So we'll do one branch at a time. They usually have those hang things down on them, those palms. So there's another one. See how it looks like it's sticking out from the back of the tree? You can create some really cool effects. Just use your imagination. Here's another one. And look at the way the palm is, how tall the tree is, and think about the balance, how big the palms need to be. Start with smaller if it needs it, just to make it a little longer. So, but if you make it real long, you can't take it back. So, you may have to put another tree trunk in right there to make it look like two if you get it. If you get too much or something, you know. Paintings this year, it would be nice to include some of my memories of trips that I have in there. I believe if I went to this place, I'd probably stay. Build me a little hut out there. I know you're already thinking, are you going to put a little hut in? No, not today. But you could put one in yours if you wanted to. Doing some of those last minute preparations. And remember, this has been a great journey on this painting. I love to take these little journeys with you. And use my titanium white, and now I'm adding a signature, and then after you sign it, the journey's over with until next time we pick up a brush and do it all again and have a lot of fun together. So while I sign this one, I want to thank you for watching and taking your time out to help me paint and make it happen. Thank you.